but it sort of is. Alright, it's fucking boiling outside already, and Natch, without my bag, I don't have my sunblock or my baseball hat. And Beaver, Oklahoma is not exactly a hotbed of shopping choices. I stand in the rising sun for a long time. No cars come by. I feel old with my infected tattoo, achy legs, and a general fatigue from the anxiety of cross-country hitchhiking that has gone so terribly wrong. The sun gets hotter, and I can feel my bald spot burning. I find an old piece of cardboard by the side of the road and hold it over my head, but every time I reach my arms up, my tattoo scabs seem to rip and pull apart. I'm thirsty. Jesus, I see some sort of bird overhead. I hope it's not a buzzard anticipating more bad luck for me. I'm not roadkill. I am a man. Captain Jack is beyond a doubt the most disgusting looking driver who has picked me up so far. But after hours of waiting with bleeding sunburned blisters, you'll get in any car, believe me. He is of interminable age, maybe even younger than me, but the years have not been kind. Grizzled worse than Gabby Hayes and smelling stronger than a comic strip character of B.O. Plenty, Captain Jack is a goiter sufferer. He has a large, hideous one on his neck. I have always feared catching a goiter from a stranger, and I have voiced such concerns to my assistants in the past, but they just hooted and hollered, "That is medically impossible." I'm not so sure. At first, I think the clinging, pungently damp, and horrendous stench in his car is his breath, but then I realize it is goiter odor. Every time he speaks, his repulsive growth rises, falls, and quivers in thyroid hormone starvation. Captain Jack claims to be a recycler, but he sure ain't green. He's a hoarder of unrecyclable plastic. The entire interior of his car is filled with dirty deli trays, old number 4 prepared food containers, filthy plastic cups, and moldy takeout containers. This is the first car I have ever been in where I noticed roaches. Captain Jack doesn't talk much, but God, he stops his vehicle a lot. At every rest area, manned or unmanned, he pulls over, roots through the trash, and rescues plastic orphans, as he calls the unwanted, inorganic children of our garbage. I could run and try to get another ride, but he's going all the way to Colorado Springs, a good distance, and he is at least a safe driver. Besides, the families in Oklahoma don't look friendly. Not one person has recognized me. But by now, without my eyebrow pencil or little scissors, who could? My pencil-thin mustache is in piss-poor shape. You can't see it now unless you're up close, and the odor zone of infection of my tattoo keeps any potential mustache viewer safely at a distance. Captain Jack has little friends in his car, too. It takes me a while to notice Janice, who he introduces as his wife, who's made out of plastic rings from carry-out six-packs, and some coat hanger wire twisted together in some kind of torso, with a head fashioned out of an empty paint can with a wig on top made from food-stained paper napkins. He has children, too. Myrtle, a baby girl sculpted entirely out of food scraps, who he confides has disabilities, and rests in a discarded and burned kitchen pot some poor, fired, short-order cook forgot and left on the burning stove. His son Arnold could be considered outsider art by some, I imagine. He's lovingly formed out of broken beer bottles with an ugly little painted face on with spilled ketchup messes from soiled paper napkins. It's not right the state of Oklahoma rejects these unwanted little recycles, he begins ranting, before asking me with true bewilderment, why should a tin can feel superior to a takeout container? Junk mail is okay to be picked up while plastic wrap is rejected? How could that not be called discrimination? Well, I try to reason, those are inanimate objects. They're not human, so their feelings can't be hurt. That's what you think, he suddenly rages. I'm tired of plastic cans feeling uppity around styrofoam cups. They're all equal. Waste and recycling, I argue, are gray areas still being worked out by environmentalists. In California, many of these items you have in your car are recyclable. It just costs more to do so. That really sets him off. States' rights, is that what you're saying? He debates with an unhinged passion. Why does Oklahoma get off the hook? Why should a salad bar container be trash in this state and valuable citizen in California? He screams, his goiter going up and down with each rant. It is a federal case. Spray aerosol cans are fucking better than dirty tinfoil, he yells, banging the steering wheel on every other word. How could that be? Somebody's got to stick up for takeout containers. Plastic bottle supremacists will not be tolerated. I watch with growing alarm as his goiter turns deep red, then purple, and finally almost black. Suddenly, his goiter explodes. Not only am I covered in a thin coat of pus, but so is he. Oh my God, I pray I haven't caught goiter germs. See, Captain Jack shouts in agony in me, see what recycling discrimination can do to a man? Much to my relief, Captain Jack continues driving safely, despite the steering wheel is also covered with slime from his exploded growth. In a panic, I turn on the radio without asking permission, and am relieved to hear that incredibly beautiful, melancholic Lonesome Drifter by Jericho Brown playing. But Captain Jack scowls at the lyrics, ain't got no loved ones, because he believes otherwise. I'm sorry, Janice, he sobs to his recycled wife, flicking off the radio in contempt. I've tried to be a garbage integrationist, he explains to his spouse, but society fights me every step of the way. Change takes time, I soothe him, but he doesn't even hear me. He's in another world by now, a recycled state of mind. Arnold, Myrtle, he blubbers, completely ignoring my human presence. I have never refused refuse, have I? They don't answer as far as I can tell, but he seems unfazed. I don't waste, do I? He continues to plead to his pitiful little family of garbage talismans, and somehow he seems solaced by their silence. All I know is that I feel a little bump in my neck, and at first I think it's just my imagination. When I grab the rearview mirror over so I can look, I almost don't recognize myself. I appear so exhausted and weary. And no, it's not just my lunacy. I do have something growing, and it's no pimple. I can't wait to tell Susan and Trish they were wrong. I knew it. Goiters are contagious. Garbage diversity is a right, Captain Jack continues crusading without the slightest notice of my goiter concern. The skin around his erupted neck volcano is hanging in flaps, its hole in the center gaping in expulsion. But he's suddenly upbeat on a new roll, but I don't even listen. I'm too worried about this thing right below my Adam's apple. Maybe it's just acne, some kind of callus caused by the sun, even a tumor. But please, God, anything but a goiter. I'm coming, little babies, Captain Jack shouts to the residents of the next trash can as we pull in on schedule to yet another rest area. I know that we're near Colorado Springs, and while I'm quite aware the city has a formidable conservative reputation, I did have a show there once at the Colorado Springs Fine Arts Center. Maybe they could give me some help. But then I remember my new outgrowth. Could the art mob ever accept me now? I run, but it's hard with this fucking thing flapping on my neck. Captain Jack looks up from picking through the filthy, bee-ridden, overripe trash and holds up a large bunch of rusted, discarded wire coat hangers. See, he screams to me in the distance, see how cruel people are? I stick out my thumb, but who on earth is going to pick me up when I'm featuring a fresh goiter puckering on my neck for the whole world to see?